Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Alicia and thank you so much for being here today. Happy June 2024. In today's reading vlog, we are reading Pineapple Street by Jenny Jackson. I am so excited to get into this book. So when it originally came out a year ago, it came out in March of 2023, so about 15 months ago. I strictly wanted to buy this book for the cover. This cover is so beautiful. I love it. I think it's stunning. I even coordinated this just to match the book. That's all I wanted to do was match it. It's so pretty. But the synopsis did not intrigue me last year when it first came out. This is a literary fiction. But this year, I don't know. I'm very excited to get into this. I picked it up a couple of months ago. And I can't wait to read it. This is her debut novel, her very first book that she's ever written and published. And it is, like I said, came out in March of 2023. It's short-ish. It's 301 pages. 301. I was hoping I could finish it in a day, but at this point, it's close to 5 p.m. right now, so I don't believe that'll be happening. But this has almost 192,000 reviews between Amazon and Goodreads, and it sort of has a middle of the road star rating. It's got between a 3.6 and a 4.0, but I think this will be, like I've said in some other vlogs, the right book at the right time, because I just got through reading a disturbing dark thriller that I absolutely hated. So I can't wait to just step into this world of these three women who I believe are siblings. Just the way that it's worded, I wasn't sure, but according to one of the Amazon reviews that I read, it said that they are three siblings. So you have Darlie, the eldest daughter in a well-connected family. She followed her heart and traded in her job and her inheritance for motherhood. But now Darlie is feeling like she gave up too much along the way. And then you have Sasha, a middle-class New England girl who married into a family and finds herself as an outsider. And then you have Georgina, the baby of the family. She has fallen in love with someone she can't have. And so she is deciding what type of person she wants to be. Not sure what that means. Is Sasha trying to be a homewrecker? But let's just jump into this book and see what we think about this cute little covered lit fic. Oh, I meant Georgina in that last clip. Is Georgina the one that's trying to be a homewrecker? So Darlie is the oldest one, Sasha is the middle one, and Georgina is the baby. So let's hop in and find out about these three sisters. Okay, this is interesting. The book starts off with a quote from the New York Times. Millennials will be the recipients of the largest generational shift of assets in American history, the Great Wealth Transfer, as finance types call it. Tens of trillions of dollars are expected to pass between generations in just the next decade. I am technically a millennial. I believe millennials are born between 1981 and 1996, and I was born in 1987, but my mom and dad do not have wealth to transfer to me. But it's just interesting that that's the blurb. That's how it starts. So, okay, so are these three siblings super loaded, or do they come from generational wealth? My gosh, the prelude, whatever you want to call it, just screams money. And then we get to chapter 1. But then I was reading this blurb above the synopsis, and it says it right here. It's a cancel all your plans kind of book, utterly addicting, big-hearted, and affecting. Pineapple Street leads us into an outrageous world of generational wealth and privilege. If I could have put this novel straight into my veins, I would have. Okay, generational wealth and privilege. Well, that is just completely the opposite of how I grew up, so all right. But yeah, that prelude, just dropping a lot. A lot was being said by two of the sisters, and their mother, and it ends with the baby Georgina standing up and saying, "Oh my gosh, I left my Cartier bracelet in Lena's BMW, and she's leaving to go to Southampton for a while. I have to go get it." And then she storms out of the coffee shop, and the onlooker, the guy that's watching her, she runs into his table. His coffee goes everywhere. It gets all over his scone, and she just leaves, doesn't even notice what just happened. It is almost 10 p.m. and I haven't even made it through the first 10% of this book. I made dinner, and then I was on FaceTime with my husband for a while, and now I'm finally sitting here reading with my boy cat. My girl cat is over there asleep on the couch. But I have learned that they're not all siblings. So the synopsis had it pegged as Darlie being the older sister, Sasha being the middle sister, and Georgina being the baby of the family. Well, chapter 1 is about Sasha. Sasha is not one of the siblings. She comes from a middle-class family and married into this rich family. Her husband's name is Cord. Cord, I guess, is the middle child. Darlie is his older sister, and Georgina is his younger sister. And the synopsis for Sasha, she feels as if she doesn't fit in with the family. She does not. I don't understand her and Cord's relationship. Everyone has their own things, though, with what they can put up and with what they can't put up with. But their relationship is just, it's different. They met at a bar, at a cocktail bar. She was sitting there by herself. He walked up to order a drink. They started talking and dating. And even their dating was really interesting. They went camping once, and he wouldn't stop making fun of her because she was afraid to go pee in the woods alone at night. That's a valid reason to be afraid, but he wouldn't stop making fun of her. But then she was the same way. He got pink eye, and she didn't stop taunting him until he started sulking. So maybe that's just their love language. They just like to tease each other. But then also his family is something. So it's definitely generational wealth. His grandfather, I guess, invested in some apartments or condos. He bought them at $45 a square foot. Now they're worth $1,200 a square foot. Grandpa passed away. The business went to his son. The son's name is Chip. And then Chip had his 3 kids, Darlie, Cord, and Georgina. I'm already forgetting. But yeah, definitely generational wealth. They're all in real estate, or really it's more investments for real estate. But I guess the parents, they had this condo, apartment, whatever you want to call it. I guess a condo because they owned it. They had it and they moved out. It was their family home. The mom and dad lived there for 4 decades, so for 40 years, raised their kids in it, and then they moved out to they call them the fruit streets. So Pineapple Street is one of them. There's Orange Street and there's Cranberry Street. It's very interesting. But they didn't want to sell that condo. They just said, we're going to keep it in the family, and then when we pass away, the mom and dad, Chip and Tilda, I think is her name, when they pass away, the 3 kids will split the sale of that condo by 3. So they're keeping it. And when Sasha and Cord got married, I believe they're in their 30s. Sasha and Cord are in their 30s. When they tied the knot, the parents said, oh, you can move into that condo that we all moved out of. But the thing is, they never fully moved out of it. It is still fully furnished with just random items. I mean, everything is super nice, but it's just weird. And everything is full. The closets are full. The bedrooms are full. I mean, Darlie is a grown woman, and her childhood room is still as it was. Same thing with Georgina, the baby. Her room is as it was. Cord's room was completely cleared out when he left for college. Not sure why. But Cord and Sasha live there. And even in their master bedroom, because it's a 4-bedroom condo, in the master, the mom and dad's king-size bed is still in there. And they can't remove anything. Sasha and Cord want to make improvements to the place. I mean, it's theirs. It's theirs until their parents pass away or until they want to move and buy something of their own. But they Cord seems to be more of a pushover, but they were talking to Cord's mom and dad about, replacing the drapes in the parlor room or getting a more comfortable couch or just little things. And they just kept knocking everything, saying, oh, no, you should give it time. You should give the house time and figure out what you really want and what you really want to do to it. And then even Sasha said, well, the closet is extremely cramped in the master bedroom, but there's a bunch of little cubbies in the closet. And she said, I'm thinking about having a contractor come in and take all those cubbies out. And then, of course, her mother-in-law is saying, oh, no, you need that for the bits and bobs and odds and ends. And started saying, if you have a hat that you're not wearing, you can store it in the cubby. And if you have a pair of nice shoes that you're not wearing, you can store them in the cubbies. And then they had a housewarming party, Chip and Tilda, for their new condo that they have. And they all went, and Sasha didn't know what to wear. And Cord just said, I'm just wearing what I wore to work. I'm wearing a suit and tie, which men can always get away with wearing a suit and tie. And Sasha kept saying, well, what should I wear? And he said, wear whatever you want. And Sasha said, okay, can I wear jeans? And Cord said, well, okay, maybe not jeans. The theme is onward and upward. And she said, I don't know what that means. What can I wear? Should I wear a dress? And he said, I don't care. Their relationship is so strange. And so she decided on a pair of blue trousers and like a nice little white blouse that she tucked in. Well, of course, when they get to the housewarming party, everyone there thought Sasha was the cater waiter. She was dressed pretty much the same as Berta, their housekeeper. And so people kept asking her to refill their wine, and they kept giving her their dirty plates, and no one seemed to care. And then finally she made her way over to Cord and just was glued to his elbow for the whole housewarming party because she didn't want to keep taking everyone's dirty utensils and whatnot back to the kitchen. And then everyone was laughing about it when the party was over. Darlie and Georgina, all of them. And I don't know, Sasha for sure is an outcast, but Darlie has a husband named Malcolm, and I guess Sasha and Malcolm they understand what it's like with this dynamic, with the siblings being so ridiculously close with each other, and then being obsessed with their mom and dad and what they think of them and how they view everything. And so Malcolm and Sasha are sort of the outsiders, even though Malcolm's not as much as an outsider as Sasha is, but I don't know. So that's Sasha's story so far, and now chapter 2 is going to be Georgina's story, so let's just see how that goes. I just reached chapter 3 about Darlie. I'll tell y'all about Georgina here soon, but I'm just so comfortable laying here with my kitty cat, who is also so comfortable right now. Outie. Sweet baby boy. I am very close to the 20% mark, and I really like this book. Okay, so the second chapter was about Georgina, and then the synopsis, it just said that, what did it say? She's crushing on someone she shouldn't be crushing on, and she needs to figure out what she's doing with her life, something like that. But I kind of thought maybe she was going to be a homewrecker. I don't know. She has a crush on a guy that she works with, but as the reader, we don't really know a whole lot about him. His name is Brady, and she just gets frazzled, tongue-tied. She turns red. She's not her typical self when she's around Brady because she has such a crush on him. And then she is about a decade younger than Darlie and Cord. So she, I guess, is Gen Z, is what the book said. I did not look up when Gen Zs were born, what their year is, but she's the baby of the family. Oh, that's my dehumidifier going off. Oh my gosh, that scared me so much. But her parents really spoiled her. And yeah, she works for this nonprofit company and has this hardcore crush on Brady. And she sort of, I don't want to say she's dumb around him, but she just gets so nervous that she sort of appears airheaded or ditzy around him. But then what I was about to say is she kind of did something, I don't know, would you say psychotic? She was sitting there eating lunch in the cafeteria at work, and Brady and one of the other colleagues walked up to her table and just started eating lunch with her, even though there were other tables available in the cafeteria. And she just got so nervous and kept staring at her phone. She was reading an article on ESPN, and the two colleagues were talking, and one just said, "Oh, what are you doing this weekend?" And then Brady said, "Oh, I'm meeting some friends at," what did he say? The Long Island bar, something like that. And he looked up at Georgina as he said it, and he smiled at her. And in her head, she was thinking, is he inviting me? Is that why he's staring at me and smiling at me? Or is he just making conversation and just being a nice little colleague? Well, she got super nervous and just said, "Okay, bye guys," and just packed up her uneaten lunch and her phone and went back to her desk. Well, then that weekend, she was telling her girlfriends about this interaction with Brady, and they said, "Okay, let's go to the Long Island bar." So they went on Saturday night, and they got there around 8 p.m. and stayed until midnight. Brady never showed up, and then she just went home. And then that following Monday, he said, "Oh, how was your weekend?" And she just said, "Oh, it was fine, nothing too crazy, hung out with some friends. How about yours?" And he said, "Oh, well, I wanted to go to the Long Island bar, but at the last second, one of my buddies thought he broke his ankle, so we were at urgent care waiting for him to get an x-ray." Is that not weird? I don't know. I guess we've all done stuff like that in our early 20s, but okay. And then the third chapter was about Darlie. Darlie is married to Malcolm. Malcolm's mom and dad are from South Korea. They immigrated over to the States, and I think his dad has his PhD and he's a chemist, and everything that they have done and all the money that they have worked so hard for. But then Darlie is very self-aware. She knows that her dad fell into this business because of his dad, generational wealth. So there's that. And then, I don't know, she was just telling us, the reader, that Malcolm works a lot. He travels a lot. I mean, they're always FaceTiming. He's always letting her know when takeoff is, when he lands, when he's in and out of the cabs. He'll talk to her or text her, talk to her before a meeting, after the meeting. But then, I don't know, I'm so curious about them. She refused to give him a prenup before they got married. And so if you refuse that, then you have to sign a document with the family lawyers saying that you will forfeit your inheritance or your trust, and it'll go to your children. And Malcolm didn't care either way. He was like, "I can sign the prenup. I'm not trying to steal your family's money. Or you can sign the other document and everything can go to the kids. Like, I don't care." And so she signed the document to forfeit everything. And then they have two kids. I think a 5-year-old boy named Hatcher and a 6-year-old girl named Poppy. And they are also in their 30s. Darlie and Cord, the brother and sister, they're only 2 years apart. But I don't know. I think Darlie's just trying to figure out if this is what she wanted. She didn't mean to have 2 kids back to back. By the time her daughter was 6 months old, she was pregnant with her son, or their son. So I don't know. I know in the synopsis it said that she gave up her job and her inheritance for motherhood. She did. She was working for Goldman Sachs, I think, and she was working 80 hours a week, but with having 2 kids under the age of 2, it was too much. So she quit her job because Malcolm makes bukus of money. But then it was interesting at the end of chapter 3, because I know this is a literary fiction, but I guess there's still a few twists and turns in Litfix. We got a reveal, like a plot twist at the end of chapter 3, and I just can't wait to continue this book. I wanted to give you all an update, but here's Minnie Cooper just meowing away. Oh, bless you, baby. Okay, Sasha and Cord, as I have already said, just have such a strange relationship, and it's like they've talked to each other to let each other know, I don't need you. I just want you and I love you, but I don't need you. And he has said that to her, and she just finds it so attractive. Their relationship is so strange. Their wedding was weird, and it was paid for by Cord's family because Sasha's family couldn't afford it. But then Sasha felt the need to cover the entire honeymoon to Turks and Caicos, and she got deals along the way to pay for that. And then just even now in their relationship, I don't know. They're weird. I just wanted to come on here and say that. what am I? I'm on page 60, so I think I'm officially at the 20% mark, but that's my update for now. Can you see the back of Mini Cooper? What, baby? What? I am now at the 25% mark, and first of all, I do need to say her name is not Georgina. I want to keep calling her that. Her name is Georgiana. I realized that as I was reading because I kept thinking, wow, her name is really long. There's a lot of vowels. And then really looking at it, yeah, I realized it's Georgiana. So Georgiana and Brady are hanging out, and they're playing tennis together because Georgiana plays tennis with her mom every Monday. Every Monday they have a match after Georgiana gets off work at 6 p.m. and it's for 1 hour. And then her and Brady started playing tennis every Tuesday, and it's kind of led into doing more after they play tennis, if you know what I mean. This is extremely closed door, let me just say that. But they do that every Tuesday, and then on the weekends they don't play tennis, they just play with each other. They're still keeping quiet about it at work, but I don't know, they're not putting a label on it. He doesn't want to. He's also way more senior than she is at the office. So in my mind, that's a big power imbalance. So I don't know. We'll see how that goes. And then also, he's about a decade older than her. So I guess he's in his 30s, just like Georgiana's older brother and sister. And she's in her 20s. And I don't know. Girl, what are you doing? I hope it works out for her. I hope this is okay. But according to the synopsis, I don't think it's going to be okay. But they are cute together. I mean, I'll give them that. I don't know how much I trust him. I am very close to the 30% mark. I'm about 2 pages away from being at 30%. And I just really like this book. I was reading some more about Darlie and Malcolm, and they're just so cute together. They're going through a rough patch, not with them being together. There's an outside influence. Something has happened, and so they're dealing with that together, and they're just so cute. And I love Malcolm's parents. Oh, Darlie's in-laws they are there for them, and they are there for Darlie. They love Darlie as if she's their own daughter. And then, you have Darlie's parents, Chip and Tilda, and they're just, I don't know. Anytime Darlie needs them, they send their housekeeper. So there's their priorities. But I don't know. It's so sweet. And like I said, Malcolm, his parents are from South Korea, so he's South Korean American or Korean American. And Darlie cannot stand it when people talk about their kids in front of her. She cannot stand it when people say, oh my gosh, you have half Korean babies. I wish I had half Korean babies. Oh, your kids look so ethnic or exotic. It drives her up a wall. It makes her so mad. But anyways, I just wanted to check in. I don't really know all what to say in some of these check-ins just because it's a literary fiction. We're just following their day-to-day, and we've got, flashbacks of, the previous life before some of these women met their husbands, or, we have present tense, and it's just talking about what they're doing in their day-to-day. But I just wanted to let y'all know I am about at the 30% mark. I have made it to page 107, so I'm about a third of the way through this book. But before 107, on pages 97 and 98, Sasha and Cord are, it just got quiet. Why did my dehumidifier get quiet? Maybe it also is filled up. Welcome to Japan in the summer. It is just so humid all the time. We have a dehumidifier in every room, and I'm constantly having to empty them. Usually Tim will empty them at night before bed, and then sometimes in the morning, and I'll do it in the morning too or throughout the day, but they scare me when they get really quiet. But anyways, Sasha and Cord, as I've said, their relationship is so strange. And in this book, all of the chapters, we haven't gotten a chapter about Cord, but all the chapters have been pretty even with Darlie, Sasha, and Georgiana, but I don't know why. I just feel like this book is mostly about Sasha, because even in Darlie and Georgiana's chapters, they are not a fan of Sasha. They don't really like her. They do treat her like an outsider. I don't like it. I think it's pretty awful. Georgiana is just kind of a spoiled brat when it comes to Sasha. And with Darlie, I don't know, Darlie just thinks that she's annoying, but I don't know. I don't see anything wrong with Sasha. I don't understand the deal. I mean, did you not want your brother to grow up and be happy and get married? I don't know. But then again, back to Sasha and Cord, I don't know how happy they are. They're so strange. And back to pages 97 and 98, she was at home at her apartment. This is before they got married. This is when they were engaged. And she's a graphic designer, but she works from home. She can work from anywhere. And so she was working on signs and, I don't know, some campaign for some company. And someone knocked on her door, and she answered it, and it was a lawyer. And he said he was a lawyer for Cord's family, for the Stockton family. And he had a prenup for her. And he said, you should get your own lawyer. I can't recommend you anyone from my firm because I guess it would be a conflict of interest. He said you need to find your own lawyer, have them look over the prenup, let us know if you want any changes made, and sign it. And she's thinking, what? No one ever told me about a prenup. I mean, I don't personally see anything wrong with a prenup, but normally you would talk about it with your partner and not be kind of bombarded by a lawyer at your front door while you're in the middle of working. And so she calls Cord. It's the middle of the day, and she calls Cord while he's at work, and she says, oh my gosh, this lawyer just showed up at the door with a prenup for me to sign. Do you know anything about this? And even though Cord answered the phone initially, he then says, immediately after Sasha says that, he says, oh, I'm actually busy right now. Can I call you back? Or I'll just see you later tonight. And she says, okay. And then they get into a huge fight about it later that night when he comes over to her apartment because he didn't tell her about it. And he just keeps saying that it's not a big deal and marriage is a legal arrangement and this is just how it has to be and she just needs to sign it. How did he word it? Look, it's not up to me. Everyone signs them. It's how marriage works. Marriage is a legal arrangement. This is part of it. Don't make it a big deal. And she just keeps saying, this isn't how marriage works in my world. It is a big deal. He just keeps saying it's not. And he keeps saying, stop making me feel bad about it. And she says, you're only saying that because it is a big deal and you know it. And you're basically trying to gaslight me into saying that it's not. And they like have a big blow up over it. And then he says very coldly and rudely, he says, we're getting married. What else do you want from me? And she just says, what else do I want from you? I want you to put me first. I want to be the most important person in your life. I want you to tell me that no matter what happens, you'll always be on my side, that you choose me over your family. And he says, that's a ridiculous thing to ask. I would never choose anyone over my family. And then later on this page, she's just thinking about what he had said, about how he would never choose anyone over his siblings. But like, that is their marriage though. I don't know if she ever signed it. She probably did. It hasn't said yet. And this is the second time it's mentioned the prenup during Sasha's chapters. So I don't know, maybe we'll find out later if she signed it or not, but their relationship is so strange. I don't understand why they're together. I really don't. She is a middle-class girl from Rhode Island. I don't know. He was born and raised in New York. And also, I got it wrong. The condo that they're living in, that the parents gave them, that condo is on Pineapple Street. The new condo, brand new construction, everything's white marble, that the parents moved to is in a different neighborhood of New York City or of Brooklyn Heights. But yeah, that's the other thing. This book is called Pineapple Street. So I don't know. It just makes me really think that the book is about Sasha because that's where they live, is on Pineapple Street. But anyways, it is about 1:15 in the morning and I want to shower and wash my face and do all the things to get ready for bed. But I made it a third of the way through. I really wanted to make it halfway, but I just can't. I can't stay up any longer. But I will see y'all tomorrow with more updates on the book. Hello everyone, it is the next afternoon and I have read about 22 more pages since I checked in with y'all last night. And in Georgiana's chapter, one of her chapters, because they all alternate, she went to this weird birthday party, and she realized later in the party, after somebody went off on her and was kind of berating her, that this party was more about perpetuating harmful stereotypes, just the theme of it and how everyone was dressed. And then later on, she was with her family and their spouses, and including her sister Darlie. And then Darlie is married to the Korean American Malcolm. And Georgina was talking to him, and she was just privately mortified, just internally, that it took the one person of color in their family, Malcolm, to explain ethnic stereotyping to her. So that was really interesting to read about. And we read kind of a lot about racism every time we're in Darlie's chapters. So I don't know, it's just interesting. And then also back to Sasha and the prenup. Remember, Sasha's married to Cord, the brother. Georgiana and Darlie, they don't like her, and they call her GD. They call her the gold digger. I mean, not to her face. They call her that behind her back. So I'm curious to know if Sasha actually signed that prenup. I don't know. I feel like in this family, you have to in order to get married. I don't know. We'll see. Well, unless she didn't sign it and it kind of screwed over Cord with his trust and inheritance, and so everything's going to go to their future kids, because Sasha and Cord don't have children right now. But I don't know, we learn more about that. And then again with Georgiana, we learned some more about her and Brady. And I really like this book because I didn't realize literary fictions have like plot twists and reveals, and we've had 2 so far, and I'm just really into it. But that's what I wanted to say at the moment. It is about 2:40 p.m. on the weekend. It's Saturday, and I have not had lunch yet. So I'm about to go in my kitchen and make lunch finally, and then read some more and check back in with y'all. I'm in my kitchen making lunch, and the very first sentence in this chapter about Darlie didn't think she would do well in prison. I am headed to my friend's house tonight for dinner, and I'm taking the train, and I tried these patches, these motion sickness patches. You put one behind your ear. It's kind of big, but it's supposed to last for 3 days. I don't know. I'm excited. Everything was in in Korean, so I'd use Google Translate, but I hope that it works. It says it takes about 4 hours to kick in. Unfortunately, I put it on 3 hours out, so I don't know. We'll see about getting there. Maybe getting home will be better. But with the book, I have reached the 50% mark. Y'all, I still really like this book. I'm not really sure where it's going. I know with literary fictions, I mean, you're just following the characters day to day, and it's all character development, but Darlie and Sasha have actually become friends. That's really cute. Darlie's been confiding in Sasha. I really like that. And you know, Darlie's 2 kids, they hang out with their Aunt Sasha all the time, which is precious to read about. The kids are so fascinated with death. They're 5 and 6 years old, and they got kicked out of the pool because they kept trying to pretend to drown because they wanted to know what it was like to die. And Darlie said, don't talk about that, don't think about that. You're not gonna die until you're 100 years old. Well, then when they were in the locker room changing after getting kicked out of the pool, they had showered, they were putting on their clothes, and an elderly aerobics class had just ended, and so all of these older women that were in their 80s came into the locker room, and the kids were just staring at the women, and then they said, are they 100 years old? Oh my gosh. Darlie was mortified. Oh yeah, she just was dying inside. But yeah, 50% mark. So that's where we're at so far. Not really sure where this is going. I don't do literary fictions have plots. I have not read that many lit fics. I just don't understand why these 3 siblings, they're grown up, they have moved out of that house or that condo on Pineapple Street, the mom and dad have also moved out, yet no one has moved anything out of that condo. I mean, it is, I don't want to say it's hoarder style, but there's so much in there. It is just, it's cluttered because the house was, I mean, the parents lived there for 40 years. The kids lived there, I don't know, until their 20s. I'm not really sure when all the siblings moved out. And then Cord, he moved back in. His room was cleared out though. We found that out in college. It was cleared out. But Cord and Sasha move in. I mean, this was given to them. This is their place to do whatever they want with. And then when mom and dad pass away, it'll get sold, and Cord, Darlie, and Georgiana will split the cost or split the proceeds from the sale. But Sasha keeps wanting to clean out certain rooms, and sometimes Cord is on board with her, and he'll talk to his parents about it. But why are you talking to your parents about it? Why are these conversations even being had? Just remove everything. Or there's a basement, put everything in the basement. And they have dinner at that Pineapple Street condo all the time. The whole family goes over there a lot. And Sasha has mentioned it, and she said it to Georgiana. She said, hey, do you want anything that's left in your room? You have tennis trophies from high school and college, and you've got just the odds and ends, just like nail polishes in there, chapstick. And Georgiana said, oh, I mean, maybe I could have a look. And then Georgiana goes up there to see her old room and just starts rifling through everything and just creates the biggest mess. There's stuff all over the floor. She doesn't take any of her trophies home. She doesn't like that Sasha put a white comforter on top of the bed. And so Georgiana finds her old comforter folded up in the dresser, and she puts that comforter back on top of the bed, on top of the white comforter, and then just leaves stuff all over the floor. The place is in shambles. And then she leaves the house. The dinner party is over, and Sasha goes upstairs, and she just says to Cord, why did your sister do this? Why is Georgiana such a slob kebab? And Cord just always has excuses. Darlie also has her room that's full. And then, of course, Cord and Sasha are still sleeping on the mom and dad's bed and mattress. I don't know. I don't understand. If I were Sasha, because she's just been so quiet about this, I would have already removed everything that I don't want and either thrown it away or shoved it all in the basement. I'm so frustrated at that right now. But anyways, that's an update. I don't really know what else to say. This book is wild. For a literary fiction, there sure are a lot of, I don't know, would you call them reveals or plot twists? I mean, really, what is the plot of this book? But it is, wow, some more just happened, and my mouth was open. I was in shock. I even messaged my husband and said, oh my gosh, this book, for a literary fiction, I am loving this. I'm loving this. I don't know what else to say. This is so good. And then also, okay, the main part of the story is not Sasha feeling like an outsider and everyone kind of having domain over the Pineapple Street condo, even though I know I keep bringing it up every other time I check in with y'all, but it's because I'll think about things many chapters later, and then during my update, I'll just talk about that with y'all. But another thing is, Georgiana still has a key to the Pineapple Street condo, but this condo belongs to Cord and Sasha. And during one of their house parties, Georgiana just used her key and got in, and I just sort of rolled my eyes and moved on from it. Well, now, in this most recent chapter that I read, Georgiana, she came over unannounced. She used her key to get into the Pineapple Street condo and then just went upstairs to her old bedroom and slammed the door and started crying inside the closet. This isn't your house. That's not your house. The entitlement of this brat. I am not a huge fan of Georgiana. I like Darlie. I like Sasha. I like Cord. Even the parents, Sasha's mother-in-law and father-in-law, Tilda and Chip, they're not terrible. But Georgiana, I have a bone to pick with her. First line of this chapter: before I was born, I had a tail. Darlie's chapters, can be so funny sometimes at the beginning, because twice now I've read off how her chapters started. Okay, I am leaving, and I'm at this part, I'm setting the book down. I am gonna have dinner with my girlfriends. We're having some salads from this place called Crispy Salad Works or Crisp Salad Works. I don't know. It's in Yokohama. I'll put a picture on the screen of what I ordered off of their website, and then I did double fish. I'm so excited. And then we're gonna watch some anime. So I'll be back later tonight, and I may or may not read tonight. It's after 6 p.m. right now, so I don't know when I'm gonna get home. It'll be later, so I might just check in with y'all tomorrow. We'll see. Outfit check. I'm dressed very, very comfortably. It is later in the evening. I've actually been home for a couple of hours, and I just have not picked up this book until now, but we're a little bit past the 60% mark. And in the synopsis, it had talked about how Darlie, the oldest sister, was sort of regretting or thinking that she gave up too much in the process whenever she got with Malcolm, with giving up her inheritance or her trust fund, and then also giving up her job because she had 2 kids under 2 years old, and it was just too much to be working 80 hours a week at Goldman Sachs and then also coming home to take care of her kiddos. And we've reached the part where she is trying to figure out what she wants to do. Do you want to go back to work? Or I don't even know if she's toggling on the idea of asking for her inheritance back. I mean, it's signed over to her kids, so her kids will be taken care of, but I don't know. We've reached an interesting point with Darlie. I want to see where that goes. And I also, this book is 301 pages. I'm on page 184. So I don't know. I was going to say I want to read to 200 tonight, but I think I could get to that pretty easily. Maybe 250. It is 1:05 in the morning, and my cat is so ready for bed. He keeps meowing at me. He is ready to go lay down. But I just finished another chapter, and poor Sasha, I just feel so bad for her. You think that she's gotten better, and not even her. You would think that Georgiana and Darlie had gotten better about including Sasha in events and confiding in Sasha, and then it just blows up in Sasha's face. I feel so bad for this girl. Okay, I'm trying to get in the light under the lamp that's here on the end table because it's 1:45 in the morning and I'm just not able to keep my eyes open, but I want to keep reading. Okay, so Georgiana is at a fundraiser with a guy that she used to go to high school with, and they kind of run into each other here and there. Well, he's now at this benefit, and he's looking at her, and he said, get this. Okay, so this book is, it's all about generational wealth and socioeconomic status and nepotism babies or nepo babies. But he looks at her and he says, did you know that between Warren Buffett, Bill Gates, and Jeff Bezos, those 3 individuals combined hold more wealth than the entire bottom half of the population? So I Googled that, and that is true. Those 3 men have more money than 160 million people. What? And the point of this character that's talking to Georgiana, he does not like that he was born into wealth. So he is trying to give away everything that's in his trust fund, which is why he got invited to this event, because Georgiana's boss's boss approached her and said, hey, I know you went to high school with Homeboy that was featured in a magazine. What did he say? Our values align. Well, no, you work for a not-for-profit and you're trying to make money. And you like this kid because he's 26 years old and wants to give up his inheritance. He just wants to give all of it away. But is that not crazy about those 3 men against 160 million people? I can't even imagine that kind of wealth. Cord and Sasha's relationship is not like any relationship I would ever want to find myself in. So Cord has found out that his sisters call his wife the gold digger, and he doesn't care. Sasha finally stood up for herself. I'm so glad. And it says right here, Cord thought Sasha had overreacted, so they called her a name. So what? Sasha's problems paled in comparison to Georgiana's. Oh my gosh. Why? I don't understand their dynamic. Hello. It is 2:33 in the morning, and I'm gonna go take a shower, take off my makeup, brush my teeth. I'm gonna go to bed. But this book, I like it so much. It is so entertaining. I don't even know what else to say. I mean, it is definitely, you're just following the day-to-day of this rich family and then this poor girl that married into the family. But I like it so much. It's fascinating being in their lives because I do not come from money whatsoever. So I'm just really enjoying this book and I want to finish it. I kind of thought maybe I would finish it tonight, but like I said, it's 2:33 in the morning. It'll probably be 3 a.m. before I get into bed. So I'm going to finish this whenever I wake up and I will check back in with y'all. Hello, everybody. It is the next day. It's much later the next day. It is after 5 p.m. and I have not eaten lunch yet. So I'm actually preheating my oven right now so I can make some chicken and a little salad, and then I will make dinner in another couple of hours. But with this, okay, so I haven't read any more today, but I had just picked it up because I wanted to read a few chapters before I checked back in with y'all because I'm almost done with this book. But Darlie's chapters, I don't know why I've just noticed this, maybe the last 3 chapters of hers, because I keep reading y'all the first line. And this one, chapter 18, Darlie knew she was an orange. What are we talking about? Are we talking about fruit? Are we talking about the colors that you can wear? What is your season, girl? But that's as far as I've gotten since I checked in with y'all last night. I've had a very chill afternoon and morning. It's a very rainy day here in Japan, but I'm going to read a little bit and check in with y'all and then probably finish the book and do a final check-in. Why does everybody baby Georgiana? It drives me crazy. I am only a little bit into Darlie's next chapter, but I can't stand it. Georgiana is 26 years old. You are a grown woman, and everyone just keeps saying, she's the baby of the family. She couldn't help that this happened. She's so young. She was vulnerable. She didn't know because Georgiana, something has happened to her personally, and she's sort of going through a breakdown, just a mental, she's losing it. She's taking pills, she's drinking, she's lost weight, everything. I don't know. What all can I say? I'm not trying to ruin things for you for this book. I like this book. I like it a lot. But Georgiana is not a baby. She's 26 years old. Like, girl, grow up. Okay, I'm in my kitchen, and can y'all see this? This is like an herb crusted chicken, whatever you want to call it. It's chicken, and then sour cream, panko breadcrumbs, cheese, and then on the chicken I have salt, pepper, and Italian seasoning. However, in Japan, sour cream does not exist in Japan. But if you use regular plain yogurt, that typically tastes like sour cream. But I keep putting this on Google Translate. It says it's plain. It's not vanilla flavored, but it tastes kind of sweet. So I'm so curious to know what this is gonna taste like when I get that out of the oven. Also, there was a snail in my cabbage last week or a week and a half ago. I'll put a picture of it on the screen. He was alive and well, and he had been living in my refrigerator in my head of cabbage for a good 4 or 5 days. So I was told to put baking soda in a bowl of water with my cabbage. So I did that, and I only did a tiny bit. What was this? 1/4 of a teaspoon of baking soda. But how long do you let it sit for before I pour it out in the colander or pour it through a strainer? I don't know. Anyways, I haven't read anymore, but when I'm done eating, I will. All right, this is my lunch. It is now 6 p.m. Let's just see how the chicken tastes. And we are currently on page 273 of 301. Okay, sometimes, bless you, sometimes she gets really nervous when I pull out the camera. So I'm just trying to be careful to see if she'll keep sitting here. My boy cat doesn't care, but she cares. So Sasha, the one that married into the family, she grew up middle class, and Georgiana is having a whole epiphany about money, and she's just saying at the dinner table, they're all having dinner on Pineapple Street at Sasha and Cord's apartment, condo, whatever, and Georgiana is saying, we should talk about more important things. We should talk about things that make us uncomfortable. We should talk about things that are real and not just about what the golf club is serving for lunch, because they're all talking about something good that happened to them this week, and it's all just very, I don't know, it's all centered around money is what they're talking about. And so she says, no, we need to talk about real things that make us uncomfortable. And so Georgiana's mom, Tilda, looks at Sasha and says, fine, okay, Sasha, would you like to tell us what it was like growing up poor? Holy cow! These people, the 1%ers, because they're loaded. Oh my gosh. And Sasha says, sure, I can talk about growing up, but we didn't grow up poor. We grew up middle class. And then Chip, the father-in-law, says, oh, of course you grew up middle class, dear. You know, 70% of Americans define themselves as middle class, but the reality is more like 50%. But go on. This family. I don't know if you can see me because the sun is going down. It's almost 7 p.m. and I have just finished this book. Oh my gosh. I loved this book. I loved it so much. I'm giving it 5 stars. And I was just looking through some of the reviews on Amazon, and they are pretty mixed. And I think at the moment it's between, I think, a 3.6 and a 4.0 star. I'm giving it 5 stars. I don't really know. I don't think this book will be for everybody. I think it's very easy to read. It's very easy to follow along. There's a lot of talk of wealth and generational wealth and income gaps and what's happening in America. And then with Georgiana's parts, there's a lot about what's happening overseas because she works for a not-for-profit and wants to become a philanthropist and give away all of her money. I thought this book was so good. It tells you a lot, but it is a character study. This is all characters and not a lot of plot. And I know I've said that in quite a few check-ins, that it's just the day-to-day and what they're going through. But I enjoyed it so much. I really like this book. But I think some of the reviews were saying, oh, it was boring. It's lighthearted, but there's no plot. It was easy to read, but I was kind of bored. Take it how you will. I don't think this book is for everybody. I think I read it at the right time, and that's happened with a couple of books lately. I'm just reading them at the right time and giving them 5 stars. Like The Burnout by Sophie Kinsella. Oh, yeah, that one. That book got me. But I love this book. I love it so much, and I cannot wait to just have this sitting facing forward on my bookshelf because it's so beautiful. But thank y'all so much for coming along on this journey with me. Please check out this book, but like I said, you might be bored with it. I don't know. I was just in the mood for a literary fiction. I was in the mood for a character study. So 5 stars. Thank you so much for following along, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.